Good morning.
Good morning. Hello. Welcome to our first Patreon Q&A. A couple of days ago, we asked you guys to provide some questions for us. We have all the questions here, and now it's time to answer them.
Yeah, very excited to get to the bottom of all these questions. So let's start.
Okay. So we got a couple of questions. We're just going to fire them kind of as we go, and we'll just decide who answers it.
Yeah.
Um, So Stefan asked, does Tom have any past renovation/construction experience? He seems to be knowledgeable about those things. Stefan, I wouldn't consider myself knowledgeable just yet. I think I am trying to figure out a lot of things.
You're resourceful. That's what you are.
I can Google. I can Google very well.
And YouTube.
So I think the answer to that question is no, I don't have much construction and renovation experience. Both Damien and I spent some time renovating. We had 3 apartments back in Canada, and we kind of different kind of size of work that we've done on those places,
Yeah.
but we've acquired a little bit of experience. The rest I'm learning on the go. I'm making mistakes here. The reason why I love being on the house first is because I get to learn from my mistakes without too much consequences, but I'm just very much learning as we go.
One little thing I want to add also, we didn't just buy 3 apartments one shot like this. What happened is that we started when we were 25, bought our first apartment with a $10,000 down payment, and then we renovated it. That took value. We were able to remortgage it, buy a second one, do the same thing for that one, and then bought the one in Vancouver. And then we sold all 3 to be able to move here.
Yeah. Okay, Barry asked, I'm wondering what help you have. You mentioned a contractor. It seems like you have someone unseen behind the camera on occasion. If you do your own editing, I can't imagine when. So maybe let's split Barry's question.
Yeah.
Who's with us here?
So we're very lucky that my uncle and aunt live something like 20 minutes away from the chateau, and they were very kind to provide us with the contacts that they've been working with, of the people they've been working with for the past 10, 15 years, that have helped them renovate their house. So they gave us their electrician name, their plumber, and also the contractor that we have here. His name is Stefan, and he's really amazing. He's here pretty much full time. He has a few other contracts, of course, but most of the time he's with us, with Tom, throughout the day. So we're very lucky to have him.
We would be hopeless without him. And I'll just add, he's a little camera shy. A lot of our actually workers or contractors are a little bit camera shy. That's the reason they're not on camera. We always ask everyone, are you okay being on camera, or would you like to be? And then based on their answer, they appear or not.
Yeah.
Then the other question was the editing time. Well, I think you're going to see on this week's episode, we find the time, but we don't have a lot of free time for editing and doing the work. Barry also asked,
But Tom does all of it himself. We don't, yeah, that's his job. Yeah.
Barry also asked, would you have interest in experienced volunteers to help you with some of the grunt work? I'm thinking more service vacation than dude ranch. I suspect there are at least some people like me who have built things and would enjoy a rustic volunteering experience in the French countryside while helping make a dent in the massive project you've begun.
So first of all, thank you so much for wanting to help us. This means the world. We would love to do this at some point. We just have no way of really accommodating people who want to come and help us work here at the chateau.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not just quite yet. We don't have any functioning bathroom. The place has been abandoned for a long time, right? So there's no place where you could sleep. So that's kind of problematic. And I think in a few months, we'll be able to revisit that.
I think next summer. I think it's fair to say
yeah.
that next summer we'll be equipped for that. Yeah.
And
great
we'd be
question.
very happy to host these kind of visitors.
Absolutely. Juste une pause, puis je l'éditerai. We have a lot to go through, so let's try to not...
Yeah.
Okay, Normand Marois asked in French, so let's try to have a short bilingual answer for Normand here so we can answer in his language and for anybody else. In 1860, he's thinking there must be a well somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I think that once the bathroom, kitchen, and first bedroom are done, it will be an important moment, probably at the end of September. So Normand, great questions. Damon, do you want to answer?
So first of all, we do have a well. We have a well that's not far from us right here. You can't see this right now because it's under a bunch of trees, but there is a well.
Yeah.
There is water in the well, which is great. We also have a forage. I think that's the name in English.
In French, it's called forage. It's
Yeah.
basically they dug all the way to the water source. It's not a well. It's much deeper. We're talking about
60 meters.
60 meters that they dug, and we haven't extracted the water. Like, we don't know yet what we can do with this. We just know it's there. So, Normand, en français, oui, on a un puits, absolument. Il est disponible. On n'a juste pas encore fait le traitement, la pompe. On a un forage aussi qui est beaucoup
Ouais.
plus profond. On n'a pas encore le traitement et la pompe, mais on aura accès à de l'eau sur notre terrain. And to answer the second part of his question, well, we decided not to do this first. So we're working on the house first. So this will probably be in 2026 at the earliest. So we're not there just yet. Daryl and Mark asked, if not already asked, I'm curious as to how you plan to heat both the cottage and the chateau. Are you going to incorporate any floor heating? Very easy to do when you are on a slab. And then I think there was a bit of a conversation happening in the chat where people were wondering about the heating system, gas and oil.
Mhm.
So I can take this one a
Yeah.
little bit. So the heating system, let's separate house and chateau, two different beasts, two different things. House will be electrical. Like, it's electrical, it's simple. We're going to use electricity. We're going to use radiators. It's fast, simple, and it requires minimum work to get that up and running. What you have to understand is we have very limited funds, and we're currently spending them not on the chateau. So we're trying to be very, very careful and spend as little as we can on the house while making the most out of it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to heat it through electricity. The chateau used to have this enormous wood furnace. We are assuming it's dead, but we're still in kind of the process of looking at it. What a lot of people are using now is what's called wood pellets. So it's using kind of wood components, and there's an automatic feeder to heat. It is absolutely sure that we're never going to heat this whole thing for the full winter. We're talking about probably quarters, so like apartments and then some rooms when people come to visit, and that's it. In the summer, when we are open for wedding season, it's going to be a lot easier.
We don't need to heat.
We don't need to heat, and the chateau remains pretty cool.
Yeah.
On top of being white and in big, thick stone walls, it keeps it cool. Joseph asked, wine recommendation from the area, Damien?
Wine recommendation. Oh, that's a good question. I mean, we went recently to Chateau de Quincey, which is just 15 minutes from us. Very good wine. They have all kinds of wine: rosé, red, white. They had sparkling wine. Really, really nice place. And then there's so many more around that we haven't even gotten the chance to taste yet. I know there's wine done by the Chateau de Valençay, which is just
Yeah.
a short 10-minute drive from here. And this is something that we really need to taste because it's the closest big chateau from us. It's one of the 15 biggest chateaux of the Loire region. So, and it's just our neighbor. So we will have to taste it.
We don't know just yet. All the wines,
Yeah.
the ones that we know, we liked it. Now we're absolutely cooking right now in the sun. So we're just going to move the
Baked.
camera somewhere else because we won't make it to the end of this Q&A.
This feels much better.
This is a lot better, and you guys get to experience a real favorite place of ours that is very contentious right now. The reason is we are under what's called...
Une allée de tilleul.
Yes, and this tree has a very particular... You can see it. So it's basically like stumps, right? And people usually will get it fully cleaned up, and then it regrows. And the thing is, like, it grows really healthy, and it grows like literally up to trees on top of branches.
Yeah.
Right now, this has been overgrown. It's not supposed to be this big of a tree. It's a small tree, and it's gorgeous, stunning. The aisle is beautiful. Everyone tells us the same thing. You need to get it back to the stumps. It will regrow healthy. Damon doesn't want that. So we're going to have to get some opinions because it's gorgeous, but we need to be clever because the last thing we want is for the branches to become too heavy
And the tree to
trees
split.
to break. So that was absolutely nothing to do with the Q&A, but now you know a bit more about where we're at. Okay. Okay, Salim asked, when did you realize Tom and Damien was the one? And who popped the question?
So Tom popped the question. We were quite young.
We're still young.
We're still young, but it was 10 years ago.
Yes.
We were 25 at that point, and we were living by the side of the water in Montreal. And we went for just a little night having wine by the river. And then Tom got on one knee, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he had a beautiful little red box.
Start crying. The whole proposal, I cried. It was barely audible what I said, but Damien got the got the point of it, and I forgot my ring.
Oh my
That's
god.
unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Okay, so and then when did we realize we were the ones?
We met we were 20. So it's hard to project yourself, from my end anyways, as a lifetime when you're 20. But we knew right away that, there was something special.
We never
And
really talked about it. Like
no,
people ask, we started hanging out, and
we're still doing it
here we are. We're still dating.
15 years later.
Okay, Brian asked more technical questions. How is the roof on the chateau?
Good question.
So that's a great question, Brian, and it was probably one of the first criteria we looked at when
Yeah.
we were shopping for chateau. We were game to get as shitty of a chateau as it gets, but it needed a few things, and the roof was one, because it's a terminal cancer if your roof is done. The roof is good. It was changed in the 80s, and we also asked the current sellers to fix all the little things, slates that were
A little like falling off.
yeah, falling off. It will require maintenance from us for life.
Yeah.
But the roof is good, which makes everyone that comes in and visit the chateau comes out and says the same thing, which is
It's not in terrible
yeah,
shape. Like,
it's dry, so that's really good.
Right.
A little bit of water came in through like windows or different like entrance, but not the roof. So that the roof we are good.
normally a slate roof is like 100 years. So
we should be fine. Unless we live forever. Brian also asked, once finished with the chateau, do you guys plan to rent upper floor rooms like Airbnb during non-wedding days? As a wedding photographer, I know this is going to be spectacular venue location. I can see the vision.
Well, thank you so much. We also see the vision, and that's why we got it. So we appreciate that you also can see it. But we will be renting out rooms. The goal is really to have a maximum of 5 bedrooms to rent at any given time, because in France, if you rent more than 5 bedrooms, you become a hotel. And if you're a hotel, you need very different.
You become what's called ERP, établissement qui reçoit des personnes, and that means you're an establishment that receives people, and you need an elevator, you need ramps, you need
That's the thing.
electricity is not differently. So we're not going to do that.
It's yeah, 5 is
But
5
we
is
will,
good for us,
and they will be available for weekends outside of wedding season.
for sure.
Let me just catch up. John here asks, there are numbers of gay couples that are renovating / rescuing chateaus in France. Have you reached out to any of them? They could be an excellent resource for you.
So we have, and we actually met some amazing chateau owner that live really close to us, who are an older gay couple who have been in their chateau for 25 years now, have renovated it, are giving us so much tips and tricks, are lending us tools, have been extremely kind to us. And we talk to other chateau owners also in different regions in France, and they're giving us tips as well. So it's a beautiful community, and people are really there to like uplift and help each other, which is great.
It's been great with the little free time that we have. We're trying to get a chance to connect with other people. Okay, so Normand asked us a bunch of questions. We're gonna rapid fire through them. Are you ready? So Normand asked us, he saw you in a horse carriage. Are you gonna have horses?
We won't have horses. I think we're busy enough with what we have going on right now. And no horses. The horse carriage was actually at our friend's house we just talked about, who have been renovating for 25 years. They bought this horse carriage for 100 euros at auction, and it's just a fun prop to have. So maybe eventually we'll have a horse carriage lying around. that I'll buy it through auction for 100 euros
You
just
probably
because
will.
it's fun to have, but
Okay.
no horses.
Okay. Rapid fire. Are we gonna have an H for helicopters?
You know what? We have room for it. So if you can land on a field, sure.
Not an H. If you can land on a field, you can.
Yeah.
But no parking for a helicopter. Norma asks, how are the nights at the chateau? Any ghost? It must be pretty dark. Any owls? And apparently this is a region that has a lot of vipers. So rapid fire nights at the chateau. We don't know. We haven't slept at the chateau just yet. We stayed late one night and we saw this beautiful owl flying completely quiet above us.
Yeah.
This giant thing. It was stunning. Stars. Can't wait to have a stars night here. It is completely dark and it's going to be stunning. No ghost. And trust me, if there's any ghosts in the chateau, they haven't done anything for 40 years. We're going to put them to work. And vipers, we haven't seen vipers. We don't want to see vipers, but that is also a reason why we've made sure to cut the grass as short as we can. Ticks and vipers didn't love us when we did that, but now it's all cleared. Norma asks us again, in front of the house, there is a little stone wall. Was that
Correct.
for a patio?
It was possibly. We don't actually have pictures of the patio itself, but the stone wall was built at the same time as the house, which was around the 50s, 60s. And we might just put some nice flower pots on that little stone wall to make it more quaint, cute, you know. So, yeah, we'll just keep it.
And Norma asks lastly here, very curious, what's upstairs in the house and what's downstairs?
So upstairs, I think did we film it? I can't remember if we
I
did.
think we filmed it,
or we put it in our story
I'm
or
not
something
sure.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
No. So it's really just an attic space. The floor is just a concrete slab, so it's very structurally sound. And then there's nothing really. So eventually, if we want, once we're done major renovation projects on the chateau, we would love to have I would love to have another two bedrooms, two bathrooms upstairs, and
Maybe.
in the
And
future.
downstairs is currently just a cave. It's not the whole surface of the house. It's just below the center of the house. And we're just going to use this as a technical room. We've used it and you're going to see it this week's video to wire. So we're going to put all the wires, but we likely will use things for like a freezer or things like that.
Yeah.
It's just going to be for us. Okay, Livingston asked, given the discovery of a 400-year-old tower from a pre-existing stronghold at Chateau Poseidon, as revealed in episode 3, how will you integrate this ancient structure into the chateau's transformation into a wedding venue while ensuring its archaeological significance and is highlighted for visitors? So Livingston said, please shorten it. It's a great question. We're now making it shorter. Livingston? Damien?
So great question. It's a beautiful building. We have photos of what it looked like 100 years ago. So we're gonna really bring it back to what it looked like. Remove all the vines that grew on it. Redo the structure. Redo the slate roof exactly as it was. And we will put a bedroom on that second floor, which could be, for wedding guests. Well, actually, maybe the bride and the groom will want to sleep there. And then my plan, if I may, I would love to have a beautiful little spiral staircase that goes from the second floor to the ground floor. And on the ground floor, have a little bathroom, a little kitchenette.
And that's all the time we have.
No.
Oh.
And then we'll just incorporate it with beautiful flowers. And there will be a pool eventually down the line, not too far from it. So it's going to be a very cute little area. That's it.
That's it, he says. Okay, Normand followed up with another question asking more about technical stuff like electricity. Is it true that wires are aluminum? What are the color codes? What's the entrance? Like, what is the voltage? Do we need to pass what's called the GAN, so wires everywhere? So let me break this down a little bit. And I know that one of our patrons, I think it's Eric, but I may be confused here, answered part of it. But we are the chateau location in what is called triphase. It's above the 200 voltage that is in France. We are in the 400, and that will allow us to feed the chateau, the house, the event. So we are more. But there's some complexities for that. which is it's probably a little bit too much for heating appliances, radiators, the oven, things like that. So what you need to do is you need to balance your phases. So connect part of them to one phase, which is what we usually work with, to not overheat the system. So that's sort of my basic one-on-one 3
I think that's really sexy that he knows how to talk about all this because I can never.
Now the wires we work with red and black as our hot wires, blue is our neutral, and then the ground is green and yellow. We have been the house is a complete write-off. Like we had to start from zero. We have to rewire absolutely everything. And now there's a lot of conditions when you rewire fully something and you have a new electrical board. There's a lot of rules when I'm walking around with my rule book in the house. So basically, every appliance needs its own circuit all the way to the board, which means in a kitchen where you have 2 dishwashers, an oven, 3 fridge, a microwave oven, you have there's so many things that has to get connected to that. Then you're only allowed 6 plugs per circuits, which means every time you go above 6, we have 6 on each side, you need its own circuit. You need to have an own circuit for the radiator in the kitchen. So there's a lot of
Wow.
wiring. I'm going to do a little bit more of a deep dive into electricity soon. But it's been a lot of wiring that we have to do. We have to redo everything. And guess what? The chateau is the same. We will have to redo everything. Nothing is up to code. But what we will try to do is to use the spaces that were already done in the walls. So just break this out, use the space that they did, and then close it on
Replaster
top.
it.
Yeah, replaster it to
Which is great because I think they redid the electricity probably in the 60s, 70s, something like that.
so it's done.
The
There's room.
layout of it looks good.
Yeah.
You know, they put sconces. I mean, there's no more sconces, but the placement of them seems good.
Steve H asked, "What is Damien's job?"
Good question. So I've been working in vintage luxury for the past 12 years. So basically, what we do is I work for a company that connects suppliers to businesses, suppliers who sell vintage luxury products. So we're talking about Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel, handbags mostly, to businesses in the US, Canada, and Europe who want to sell those kind of products. So I'm basically a broker between both. I've been going to auction houses, buying those kind of products. So I like all things old, him, the chateau, and bags.
And did Tom grow up in Canada? Steve, I did. I was born in Quebec City. I lived in Montreal and Vancouver. I'm as Canadian as it gets, French Canadian, that is. And for the past 8 weeks now, I have been living in France. So I lived 2 years in England too, between 18 and 20. Okay, we have 9 questions left. Well, 9 different people asked us questions. Dominic asked, there's a 2-part here, actually 3-part. What is your vision and dream for the chateau?
Mhm.
What will it become and what services will you guys be offering? And are there any ways this community can be of any further help for you guys? And if so, how? So do
We
you
have
want
to
talk
break
about
it down.
Yeah, let's break it down. Talk to us about the vision, what this will be.
So we really see the chateau as a place where people can live the happiest day of their life here. So really creating weddings, also hosting events. There's like different seminars we can think about. There's people who talk to us about yoga seminars or photography seminars, painting seminars. So I think when we're not in wedding or hosting season, we can definitely open it up for these kind of seminars. Right now, we don't have a lot of room outside of the chateau to do these events, but the plan is eventually to create this structure to build around maybe 100 square meters,
Correct.
so we can host those kind of events. As you know, all the stables were destroyed, so it's not like we can reuse those. So we would have to build something from scratch. This is something we will do, and then the rest, we'll do a flower garden. There's going to be eventually maybe a little vegetable patch. We have a
Eventually, there will be.
Yeah, it's a lot of work also, so
It's my thing.
that's his thing. He wants bees as well.
That's soon. They are. It's imminent.
He dreams about the bees and the honey.
So basically, and I think Damien said it. This is about offering moments. So wedding, retreats, and is it a weekend, a lover's weekend, a food loving weekend, an exploring the wine region weekend, just
Yeah.
moments, or people that just want to experience what the chateau life is for a couple of days will come here and do just that. So they will be different forms. Are there any ways this community can help you guys further? The truth is, there's not a million ways that you guys and patrons do, and you guys already do a lot. But what we will say is, people have reached out for different things. So, in local people who now know that we're taking furniture are starting to reach out and say, "I've got this big old mirror. I've got this." We don't have a lot of room to take all of that, but this is great and fantastic for us to have this opportunity. We have some people who ask, I don't want to contribute to Patreon. This is not really a monthly membership I'm looking for. I would rather just contribute in one big financial amount and know this. Someone asked for this to be anonymous, and some other people were more interested. Maybe we do a for the Tree Alley. So we'll have different fundraising because that's what people have been asking for. But ultimately, it's not our goal to ask for people to pay money. It's more than a lot of people are interested to say, I would like to contribute. How can I do that? And the rest is keep watching our videos, keep supporting our content, because this is a way that we can fund what we do. So actively being on YouTube, actively being on Patreon is one of the best way that you can help us.
Yeah, and sometimes you guys give advices that are super useful to us as well.
Yeah.
Stuff that we don't know, so that can be another way to contribute as well. So
Someone asked about sewage system, another thing that really
my passion.
float my boat right now. So sewage system. Right now there are what's called fosse septic, septic tanks, and yes, they're ancient, they're here, and they're not up to code. So we have up to a year legally to change them after purchase. But one of them from the house is still working. So I'm currently working to get what's called an étude des sols, étude d'assainissement, and that's really get engineers who will tell me my ground absorption capacity. That is to create a sizable septic tank system that will use the ground to clean the water. So basically, the water goes in the tank, and as the tank sort of cleans it to the ground, it uses the ground to absorb everything, and what comes out of it is clean water again in the nature. But that's done by engineers. So
Yeah.
what we're doing is we're waiting for them to tell us what the situation is for our ground. Catherine asked, were you able to obtain any old historical family photos from the chateau previous owners to see how the interiors of the chateau looked when people were actively living within its wall? It would be fascinating to see.
So good question, and this is something we really wanted to get. Right now, we don't have any historical photos from the inside of the chateau. However, we were put in touch, or actually, one of the descendants of the person who built the chateau, so the Boulet family, one of the descendants wrote to us and sent us quite a bit of pictures from the outside of the chateau between 1915 and 1925. This is something we will share with you,
Yeah.
and it's quite exciting. They are also coming to meet us in 3 weeks. So this will be a very cool meeting. We also asked them if we could film. They approved. So this will be a YouTube episode.
Rolf asked, we have so much respect for you guys. Oh, well, I think. No, hold on. There's a question. We have so much respect for you guys to keep up so many balls in the air and stay so energetic and positive. How do you manage to still find the necessary time for yourselves, each other, and James away from all the chaos and social media? Well, Rolf, I'll say we've shared in this week's YouTube episode that we don't have much time for much.
Mhm.
But we're trying to enjoy this journey, and we're very well aware that we're at the very beginning of launching a giant project of restoration and renovation, launching a giant project of social media and reach and a brand.
Yeah.
So we know that this is a kind of a crazy part, and we're a bit more in that. If you're in the Tour de France right now and on a bike, we're climbing and we're trying to stay ahead. We know that this won't be all the time like that, so we don't have much time. We try to do once a week 1 or 2 hours of that personal activity, not work, not furniture.
We try to at least have like one evening together
Yeah.
where we can watch a movie and like
So I
have
would say,
dinner.
yeah, it's very different in our previous life.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening. The energy comes from the fact that we're doing this for us. We're doing this for our dream that we've been waiting for. So we have this untapped source of energy that keeps us going. Don asked, very interested in the financial aspect of owning a chateau. I was curious if there's any avenues of funding available, either from national or local level. Also, along the same line, are there organizations or groups made up of other chateau owners where you can discuss similar issues, resolve problems, and get advice or pool resources?
So those are two
Yeah.
questions. Do you want to answer the first? I'll
Yeah, I can say there's definitely ways you can get grants and money for a chateau, but we own a private chateau that is not what's called classé monument historique,
not listed.
so it's not listed, which gives us a lot more independence. We can basically do what we want here, but it means we're not getting any
Help.
help and grants. So there's kind of like some bases. There's a few organizations out there. If you have crumbling buildings that you can try, we are trying to ask for a little bit of help. For the tower, for example, is really one that we're asking. The park itself, which was a beauty before, has been torn off to make a golf. It's going to be very expensive for us, and we have to focus on the chateau. So a couple of things like that we're thinking about. But the truth is, local help is there's not a lot, and we're going to have to be resourceful in any other ways.
Yeah.
And let's talk about other chateau owners.
So because we've been talking to so many different chateau owners through different social media platforms, we're talking, mostly Instagram, but also once we have Instagram, they give us their number, so we're on WhatsApp. We would love to create this community it's a tight-knit community, and people love to exchange, tips and tricks of owning a chateau. So I think we will eventually create a private page for chateau owners so we can exchange these kind of information. This is something we've thought about before, and I think it would be great.
Yeah, if there is one, we're not part of the cool group, so we want to create our own, but we've been talking to individual chateau owners. That's what we should say. Willem asks, moving from Vancouver to France must be challenging. What has been the most difficult issue for you two, and what was the easier or better than anticipated? That's a fantastic and very difficult question that we can talk about.
I think the best thing is really how the village received us here.
The
right?
town,
The
yeah.
town. Like they've been so welcoming, and we didn't expect much, and it's been way beyond our expectation how they've been really making us feel like we're welcome in the community, and they're reaching out to help, and it's been great. So that's like
The
I think
people.
the
I
people
think it's
have
fair
been
to say,
yeah.
same for me, the people we're meeting, is the generosity, the human connections. It's been a lot better. French people have this kind of hard to get reputation, or they'll be rude.
Yeah.
They're not. They're extremely generous of their time, and we're very, very thankful for that. The difficult issue, I think it was anticipated, or at least for me right now, it's kind of twofold. So on the business side, it's all the hoops that you got to go through. You're still learning, and you're being transferred
The
to seven.
bureaucracy
Yeah,
is
and
a lot.
we expected it. It's happening. It's there. On the personal side, I think it's just fair to say we derooted ourselves. We're replanting our roots somewhere else. So right now we feel we don't have a deep hold in where we live, but we've done it before, so we know exactly where we're at in the process.
Yeah, it's just the first couple months, first years, you're always going to be a little homesick,
Yeah.
but also we're so excited about the project. So like Tom said, it's a little bit of both.
Brett asked, how long do you think it will take to complete the guest house? So, Brett, we were just talking about that yesterday. Our goal is that November 1st, we enter the house with our luggage and we can be and live in it. The truth is, it's probably between November and December. Our goal is to wrap the house before the end of the year. That's really what is a realistic goal. There's a lot to do. We're only two working on this. And other than the walls, nothing is in the house. We have to redo everything. So, hopefully, give us till Christmas, and we'll have Christmas in this house.
We're actually going to get 3 doors for the house tonight.
Ryan says, hi, apologies for the direct and rude question, but how much did your beautiful chateau cost, and how much do you anticipate it'll cost to restore? So, Ryan, I think we're going to bring this question, first of all, we're going to talk about it in the next YouTube episode, so I'm not going to deep dive into all the financial. But we feel like talking about the price of the chateau is a lose-lose conversation, and here's a little bit why. If you talk about the chateau and you come in saying, we bought the chateau for this much, and we'll put all of this in it, then people will say, well, you're you're so loaded, you have no idea what you're doing, typical chateau owners. And we've seen those comments from people who think we're that.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, we also have people who think we have no money because we have said that we don't have the funds to be all that, who says, you bought a chateau for cheap, the money is in the restoration, you guys have no idea what you're doing, and it's going to cost you a fortune and bankrupt you. So we feel like whatever avenue you take in restoring, like talking about money, it's a lose-lose conversation. So the way we approach it is slightly different.
Well, I mean, it's yeah. We purchased the chateau and the land around, so around 15 hectares, for the price of a 40 square meter apartment in Paris. So 400 square feet, depending on the neighborhood. A renovated 400 square feet apartment in Paris would be the same price as the chateau. So it gives you a good comparison.
Yeah. And we don't have the money to renovate it all. Far from that. So
But
we're
that's
going to
why
break
we're
down in
doing-
our
yep.
YouTube episode exactly kind of like where we're at with the financials. And last question from Dieter. How does your week typically looks like for each of both of you? We see Tom working, Damien traveling to Paris. So I think we have answered part of this in this week's episode by breaking down a typical day. I think the last thing we can add here is just to say Damien works from the Airbnb, so his contribution to the chateau is whenever he has time. So we're talking like either early before work or on the weekends, which is where we're going to do the big trips to get some equipment and things like that. So we try to add around that, and then sneak in one social, one fun activity, and then start over again. So our weeks are pretty jam-packed. We've shared our typical day. Yeah, and that's it.
Quite busy, but yeah, I try to work more on the design of it, and then
Yeah, guys, that is all for our Q&As. That is quite a long video. We were very happy to get all these questions. We thank you for your curiosity. We thank you for your support as
thank
well.
you so much.
You guys have no idea, and we're talking about, doesn't matter how big or how small your contribution is, we're extremely thankful. We're very thankful for the people who have decided to contribute to the max tier availability too, just because we feel we see you, and this is extremely touching for us. Whatever you can and have contributed to, you are making a meaningful difference in this adventure. There will be a lot of these. We also want to open up a smaller Q&A, so we're not going to have this video and all, probably on our social media, where you can see also the questions that we get from the world. But this was important for us, and we will do more of these. So as we go along, this is your time. This is for you. We'll get to open up more questions. And for now, I think
maybe do a live Q&A at some point,
I think
when
it'd
it
be
works
fun.
for, yeah.
I think it would be fun. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you again.
Have a great rest of your day, wherever you are, or great night or morning, whatever. Bye, everyone.
Bye.